Over the past few years, threats to schools have happened across our nation.
We've watched these tragedies unfold with broken hearts, anxiety, and questions about the safety of our own kids.
As parents and as first responders, we want you to know exactly what we are doing to keep all of our kids in Mesa County safe and what you can do to be a part of emergency preparedness.
We invite you to have a conversation as a family and understand what to do in an emergency so that we can work together as a community to keep our children safe.
The two most common types of emergency situations we're going to talk about are a lockdown and a shelter-in-place. The third one that we'll talk about in a moment is an evacuation. A school goes into shelter-in-place if there's law enforcement activity or public safety concerns in the neighborhood around the school. During a shelter-in-place, all outside doors are locked and no one is allowed to enter or exit the building. Inside the school, classes are taking place as normal. Students might not even be aware that a shelter-in-place is in effect. Sometimes, a shelter-in-place can start and end so quickly that parents won't even be notified until it's over.
Lockdowns happen when a potential threat is reported or there is a situation that could threaten student safety on campus. During a lockdown, all doors inside and outside the school are locked. No one is allowed to leave or enter the school or any of its classrooms. Classes are not evacuated until directed to do so by law enforcement entering the classroom with a key. A lockdown can take hours to resolve, even if the threat turns out to be a hoax or a misunderstanding.
If students are outdoors when a lockdown goes into effect, the adults supervising them may choose to evacuate their class to a safe location. Other times, law enforcement and District 51 personnel may decide that part or all of a building needs to be evacuated due to a threat. In this event, students will be escorted out by law enforcement to an off-campus location.
So what are these agencies doing to prepare for these types of incidents? Our schools practice drills several times a year.
Our agencies also plan and train together regularly so that when a critical call comes in, we're ready with a coordinated response.
Parents, once a lockdown or shelter-in-place is initiated, don't call 911 or the school. Dispatch and school employees are not your source for information. They are working to make sure students, teachers, and first responders have what they need that very second. In addition to training, there are ongoing conversations happening throughout our organizations to identify emerging trends in school violence and to look at our needs and resources to provide the best response for our kids.
If there is a safety threat at one of our schools, our officers are trained to respond from anywhere in Mesa County. There is no waiting or staging period. The first officer on scene will immediately enter the school to search for and stop the threat. That is our singular focus. Anytime there is a threat to a school, our community should expect to see a large law enforcement presence, often from multiple agencies. As additional officers arrive on scene, they will work to stop the threat.
If patients need to go to a hospital, our crews will take them there. While officers are entering the building, our medical teams will respond to a nearby location. Officers will determine if there is a need for EMS.
Once a lockdown or shelter-in-place begins, staff inside the school stop answering phones, focus on locking doors, communicating with school security and officers, and helping students know what to do. The first message you receive from the district may not have much detail about why the school is in lockdown or shelter in place. Accurate details take time, and the school district will communicate this information with you as it becomes available.
Go ahead and take a second right now to opt in for District 51 text alerts by texting the word YES to 67587.
Follow School District 51, Grand Junction Police Department, Mesa County Sheriff's Office, and the Grand Junction Fire Department on social media. These will be your trusted sources for correct information.
We understand it's scary not knowing what's happening right away. It's tempting to believe the first things you read on social media or hear from inside the school. But first isn't always best. Oftentimes it's incorrect. We encourage you to wait for credible information from law enforcement or from the district.
Do not drive to the school. The roads around the campus need to remain clear of traffic so first responders have fast, easy access. Often, for ongoing incidents, a staging area will be provided for parents to gather and receive live, up-to-date information.
Students, we need you to stay away from social media and scanning apps during lockdown drills. They can give away your position to someone who intends to do you harm.
Police department!
Police department, show me your hands!
If a student has a medical need during a lockdown, let your teacher know.
Police department!
Hands up, hands up!
They will text 911 and provide your need and location to first responders.
If a shelter in place or lockdown aren't prolonged, the school day will continue with regular release procedures.
If an incident is ongoing, disrupts the school day, or extends beyond normal school hours, our next best option will be an on-site reunification. Students who are able to drive home will be allowed to do so, and any parent picking up a student needs to have a photo ID available.
If students are evacuated to an off-site location, that off-site location will be announced by the district and law enforcement. That location will be announced to parents so that they can be reunited with their students. Again, any parents showing up to pick up their children will be required to show a photo ID.
If people have medical needs, it's our job to provide emergency care and transportation to a local hospital. During an incident, we will work to prioritize treatment based on the immediate effects of injuries.
Our victim advocates are trained to provide support and resources in times of a crisis. Their services to you can be available during or after a traumatic incident. If a family is grieving, we can also provide a public affairs liaison to offer them the privacy and space they need.
After an incident, the district brings extra counselors to help students talk through their feelings. Even if the lockdown turns out to be a false alarm or a drill, the feelings are real. Please don't hesitate to talk to a school counselor or trusted adult if you feel anxious, sad, mad, or fearful after a lockdown.
You're trusting us with the most precious gift, the safety and well-being of your children.
You deserve transparency about what we are doing in Mesa County to protect our schools.
Partner with us to have age-appropriate conversations with your family. Empower your family to make safe and smart decisions in the event of an emergency.
We are proud to serve a community united in a commitment to safety.
And we're dedicated to that responsibility.
Okay. Over the past
18, take 2.
Okay. Sorry. The two most common types of emergency.
Scene 23, take 1. I'm looking like...
Yeah, she's looking at the words.
All right.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
You want me to go like that too, or?
Yeah. Rolling.
24, take 3.
Let's take one more just for fun. I think you'll be...
Say one more